Now we want to talk about multiplying and dividing integers using the number line. We want to go ahead and use some of the things that we talked about with addition and subtraction and use those concepts to help us out when it comes to multiplication, especially with the symbol in front of the number telling us which way we want to face. Now again, we're still going to start at 0, and when we start at 0, the sign in front of the 2 tells us which way to face. There is no sign in front of 2, so we need to go ahead and assume that that is positive. And it says times 3. What that's telling us is 3 groups of 2. So I'm going to move 2 spaces, 1, 2, move it again, 1, 2, move it again, 1, 2, 3 times. So I move 2 3 different times, and you'll see that I get a positive 6. And we should all know at this point that 2 times 3 is positive 6. But now we're going to use that knowledge to help us dealing with the negative values. Now again, I'm starting at 0. And I have that positive 2, so I'm facing the right. But now I have times negative 3 that says, okay, face the left. I'm going the opposite way. And so since I'm doing that, again, I have 3 groups of 2. Since I know which way I'm going, now I'm just looking at it as saying 3 groups. There's my first group. There's my second group. There's my third group. There's my 3 groups of 2, but I ended up at negative 6. Next, we have negative 2 times 3. Again, we start at 0, and I have negative 2, so that says look left. And that's a positive 3, so I'm still going to stay to the left. That doesn't change it. The only time I'm switching anything around, positives don't mean, okay, switch and look positive. Positives mean, okay, you're staying the same. We want to go ahead and think of negatives as kind of the inverse or the opposite of what we're doing. Anytime you see that negative symbol that says, okay, you're going one way, start going the other way. Positives don't do that to us. So I have negative 2 times 3. Again, now I'm just going to think of it as kind of like absolutes, 3 groups of 2. So I'm going 2 once, 2 twice, 2 3 times. And again, I end up at negative 6. Finally, I have negative 2 times 3. Again, I'm starting at 0. That negative 2 says look left, but that negative 3 says switch it around, you're looking right. Remember, only the negative signs make us switch the direction that we're going in when we're multiplying using the number line. So now I want to go ahead and I want to go 3 groups of 2 again. 1, 2, 3. And I end up at positive 6. So that's how we multiply using our integers. Next, we want to talk about dividing using our integers. So I have 6 divided by 2. Okay? So this is the way we want to think about it. I'm starting at 0. My end point that I'm going to end up at is going to be 6. That's where I want to end up being. And I want to break that 6 into groups of 2. So how many groups of 2 go into that 6? So I'm going to go, and since there's no symbols to make me look left or right, I'm going to go to the right, and I'm going to go 1, that's first group of 2, that's my second group of 2, that's my third group of 2, and so I have 1, 2, 3 groups, so my answer is 3. Now I have 6 divided by negative 2. Now I know that I want to end up at 6, all right? The thing is, I have that negative symbol there in front of that 2, so it says I got to look to the left. And I'm going to just think about it again in terms of absolute value. The distance I want to go is to 6. The whole negative really doesn't matter once we figure out which way we're going on the number line. So I want to figure out how many groups of 2 I can break up 6. So there's 1, 2, 3. So there's 1, 2, 3 groups of 2. But since I went to -6, that's 1, 2, 3. They're -3 groups. I went back -3 times. Let's go ahead and try this again. I have -6 divided by 2. So I'm starting at 0. And I want to end up, since I have that negative sign in front of the 6, it says, okay, go to the left. And since we're ending up at -6, I'm moving 2 groups. So I'm going 1, 2, 3. Since I'm figuring out these groups on the left side of the number line, or to the left of 0, it's going to be -3. Okay? If my groups went to the right of 0, it would be positive. If it goes to the left of 0, it would be negative. So now I have -6. That -6 says look left. I'm starting at 0. Look left. -2. Look right. Now I need to figure out how many 2's can go into 6. So I'm going up to 6, and I'm going to go 1. There's my first group of 2. There's my second group of 2. There's my third group of 2. 1, 2, 3. Since we're on this side of 0, it's a +3. If you have any questions, what I'd like you to do, or anything that you care to write down and reflect on, I want you to go ahead and write it here in this space, okay? And we'll share it in class. Thank you.